live show.
What's happening, everybody? Is anybody as tired as we are?
Doubtful. Definitely doubtful.
Oh my goodness, you guys, what is happening? I cannot believe it's already the Sunday before eBay open. Woo! We just got home late last night. Our flight came in at what, 10:30 or something like that? Flight came in at 10:30 last night from Washington. We were gone for 10 days. We were volunteering at a kids' burn camp this whole last week. Kids just went home yesterday morning. We flew home last night, and now today we've got, how many things do you have to ship?
I think I'm at 46.
Yeah. And I'm at like 53 items, I think, that I have to ship. So we are in the middle of, like, you pulled like half of your stuff so far. It's like a disaster.
I've packaged like 6 things so far. I had to go get the nails done. You know, camping for 10 days is not good on a manicure, you know? I'm not that high maintenance, but seriously, I could not go to eBay open looking like I was all jacked up, like I'd just been like working on a bunch of cars.
What's up, DuPage Picking? We get to meet Greg this week, right?
Yes, I'm so excited.
And we get to meet Susie Beach as well.
Susie
or as I like to call her, Susie Biatch. But yeah, you pulled like half of your stuff so far, and then you were like, I'm not gonna have time to get my nails done. And I was basically like, stop what you're doing right now, go get it done. Because the reality is, yeah, we have a ton of stuff that we have to do, but I knew that it was gonna make her feel a lot better if she was able to like make that happen. So that at least like
it took an hour for pampering and ran a couple of errands and went to CVS. But yeah.
So we got that done. I am about halfway. I think I pulled all my t-shirts, which I had a ton of them that I sold. So I pulled all those. I still have, I think I pulled my jackets too. I still have some sweatshirts to pull, a sweater, a pair of shoes, a couple of records. So we're in the middle, we're in the thick of it. So
we're in the thick of shipping. I don't want to wait till tomorrow because it'll take too long. We got too much stuff to do. We're picking up people at the airport, picking up Miss Alexis at about 10:30, 10:45, or is that Allison?
I don't even know
Allison's, the A's are coming in tomorrow. The A team is coming in tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're getting Allison. I think Alexis comes in around the same time, so we might do double duty at the airport, pick them both up. But yeah, so it's like after this show, we really wanted to do this show, even though we don't have a ton of stuff to show, but we did do some thrifting while we were in Washington. We had a couple of days before camp started. We got there Thursday night. We didn't have to be at camp until Saturday morning. So on Friday, we were able to go to a Value Village in Washington, and we ended up finding some stuff, and we actually sent home a box, 35 pounds of stuff home. Now, a lot of that was one particular item that you got that is, I found some cool stuff, but I didn't find any like showstoppers. You found a couple.
I bought like 5 things, and 2 of them are really, really cool. So I was like, I couldn't not send them home.
Right.
Somebody's asking, I was going to go and get my nails done at the airport. I was joking that because we had to spend about 4 hours at the airport yesterday waiting because we all leave camp. Let's put it this, we all leave camp closes, everybody scatters to all over where they live, and there are about 4 or 5 of us that actually fly in, so then we have to rely on other counselors to take us to the airport, which is an hour and a half away from camp. So basically whenever they got us there was when we got there, and that was fine. So our flight didn't leave last night until after 8. The problem with that is that we were on the only Spirit flight leaving SeaTac coming to Las Vegas. May have only been the only SeaTac, the only Spirit flight in the afternoon.
It was the only Spirit one.
So I mean, in Spirit, we all know trash can of the sky. I hate it anyway, but it was cheap, and it is, you know, so what we got to do. So we couldn't check our bags. So they wouldn't
check until 2 hours before flight time.
Yeah.
And you know, boarding is like a half an hour before. So really, we couldn't even check our bags and then we had an hour and a half to get something to eat and do all stuff. So whatever, but it's such a busy month that we had to time everything out just right. Like, you had to get your hair colored before we went to Washington. You obviously weren't gonna have time in between. I had to get my hair cut because I probably had another good week and a half left of growth before it was like a little bit too much. But if I didn't get it cut the day before we went to camp, I would have been a hot mess for this week for open.
We had no time. Like, today is it, and we have to spend all of today shipping, really. We wanted to take a break to check in with you guys and do the show because we missed you too.
Yeah.
Show will probably be a little bit of an abbreviation or abbreviated version just because we don't have, I know they say that now, but we talk a lot. we just don't have a lot of a haul to go through,
Yeah.
and our sales are kind of mediocre. So to be fair, because we have not listed anything in 10 days, 11 days for me. So
well, yeah. So we're gonna. So as soon as the show's over, we have to get right back to shipping. We want to get all of our shipping done. Obviously, we'll have hopefully we'll have a little bit more shipping that we have to do in the morning because we'll be getting. I'm thinking we might want to like drop our stuff off at the post office on our way to open tomorrow, or our way to do stuff tomorrow. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It may already be picked up by the. Oh yeah.
Because we're gonna have so much, we're not gonna want to necessarily leave it all outside.
Yeah, we'll see.
And so anyway, so we're doing that and getting everything ready and kind of getting the house a little bit more in order because we do have guests coming and we don't want it to be a complete disaster. And then,
although I have to say, Dana is House of Rocks is in the chat. So you all know that she works for me part-time, but she's also the dog sitter, house sitter extraordinaire. If you happen to live in the Las Vegas area and you need a trustworthy house sitter or dog sitter, I highly recommend her. But she comes and pretty much moves in. Her and her husband come and move in when we're gone. That way we don't need to worry about the dogs or the house being empty or any of that stuff. But who strips the bed and washes their sheets and towels and remakes the bed when they're house sitting? She's awesome. Yeah. So thank you, Dana. You saved me some time and I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say that after we are able to at least get our shipping done, we then get to take a little break because our refrigerator is pretty much empty, and we are going to go meet up with a bunch of open people to have.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people are in town already for open. They're coming in. They came in yesterday, and some are coming in today, and even more obviously are coming in over the next couple of days. Yeah. But there are a bunch of our closer lady friends are in town, and they're already here. So we're gonna try to meet up and get some tacos tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So Borderline Hoarderish asked a pretty tough question. Wants to know who are we most excited to see at eBay open. To be honest, it's really impossible. It's really impossible to narrow it down because on the one hand, they're seeing all of our friends that we haven't seen in a while. Like yesterday, it's like, it's been such a whirlwind and like nonstop stuff going on that yesterday it just hit me like, oh my gosh, like we get to see Lorna in 2 days. So I'm really excited to get to see like our friends that we actually do spend time with each other in person and make sure we visit each other when we can. So I'm super excited to get to see old friends. But
Susie, we are super excited to meet you. We do know it. We do know it.
But that's what I was gonna say. But I was gonna say is I'm almost I would say equally as excited, but in a different way, to meet our stranger friends.
All of our stranger friends.
Like there's so many people over this last year. You know, when we went to open last year, we had less than 3,000 followers. I don't know.
We'd only been doing YouTube for a few months. I'd only been doing it for a couple months with you.
At that point, I don't remember how big the boss group was, but we were in the boss group. We were part of that.
I think we had about 1,500 people or so in Boston.
Yep. And so we didn't hit 3,000 followers, just subscribers on YouTube until after, like a week after open. And now we're heading into open there we have like 7,100. So more than double what we had last year. And we've met so many more people virtually online, our stranger friends. And so it was overwhelming last year, all the people that we got to meet, but I'm super, super excited that there's new people that we've gotten to know over the last year, like Allison, who's coming to stay with us, and we've yet to meet her in person.
I know, right? And she's coming to stay in our house.
But we've actually developed.
She could be a psycho. We don't know.
She could be. But we've actually.
She probably is, but it's okay.
I feel like we've actually developed a pretty strong friendship with her, not just through social media, but also like one-on-one.
Yeah, we do chat and talk a lot. So I feel like I already know her very well. Barbara, we wish you were coming too, honey. Someday you've got to get out here. Yeah, and you always have a place to stay with us. Maybe not during open. You may have to draw straws, but any other time. Yeah.
Jen, our life is too exciting right now. I'm going to tell you, July is tough. And especially, last year I didn't go to camp with Vicki, but that meant that I had 10 days where I was doing all of her shipping for her. So even though she was gone and doing all of her campy stuff and I got to stay home, I was doing double duty as far as like our shipping goes and stuff like that. And then it was like right into camp. And so it's pretty tiring. And this year it's like with both of us having been gone, now we got to ship everything out.
Double the work.
I would like it to be a little less exciting at this point because it is a bit much. But as far as camp goes, how was camp for you?
Camp was awesome. I have to say, we did our little video, and I know we've been talking about it, and you know, some of you it may or may not be interesting, but there were some of you that were listening when we did some information about camp, and we also talked about in our little video that we put up while we were gone, and some of you actually sent some donations into the camp in my name, and I very much appreciate that. When that does happen, I do get a notification. The executive director of the camp sends me a text message, and she's like, why are all these people donating in your name? And I said, well, I asked for it for my birthday, first of all, and a few people did. And then after other people did as well. So, you know, I just want you guys to know that we put on camp this year for about 70 children, 70. It costs $1,200 per child to have them there for the week. Some we fly in, some we don't. These children do not pay. It is a free camp, and every single solitary person that works for this organization is a volunteer. There is not a single paid employee. All of it is it's a 501c3 charity, and so all of the camp is sustained entirely by donations. And I'm not trying to plug. I just want you to understand that when your money,
why not? When
your money goes to a place like this, it is actually making a difference. It is really making a difference. And there are small charities like this all over the world. I don't care who you give to, just sometimes give a little. That's all.
Yeah, it's a big deal. But you know, I had a really good time. It is super challenging. It's like, I don't know if any of you have ever worked with kids before. Kids come with their own unique challenges because they're kids, and they're kind of nutty and ridiculous, and especially when they're outside of their routine, which obviously going away to sleepaway camp for a week is a huge change in routine.
And they're all hopped up on sugar.
Right. So you've got all of those things that would just come along with any kind of kids thing that you're doing. But we've got, you know, kids who have, every single one of them have experienced major trauma, major physical trauma, through some sort of burn, and then you add on top of that you know, sometimes it's accidental, sometimes there's abuse involved. So you've got kids who are really dealing with some pretty serious stuff, and some of them are a little better put together than others, and some
of them have these wonderful families and support systems and help, and then others don't have that, and we may be that only support system for 1 week out of every year, and it's really important. It's not just babysitting kids and having fun. I think what Katy has now realized and understands more is that it is definitely, you are playing child psychologist and mom and dad and big sister and friend and all of that to a lot of people. So it's really important.
Well, and some of the kids are like years from their injuries, and some of them don't even remember it because it happened when they were children, like really, really young, or like babies. And some of them, I mean, we had one girl that came in the middle of the week and stayed for the rest of the week, where it was like it's literally you know, got out of the hospital a month ago, and still.
And I had a little girl that got added to my camp at the end of the week as well.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other girl, the other one that was added earlier. Anyway,
but my point is, it's emotionally exhausting in a way that it's impossible to even describe. But it was super, super rewarding. I
had one of my very good friends come out from Ohio that I met through eBay almost 15 years ago. Flew out from Ohio to volunteer and hang out with us for the week as well. And Melissa, I know you don't watch this often, but if you're watching, thank you. I love you for that. And so she had a great time as well. And she is she's a nurse. She's a pediatric nurse. And she thought she understood what it was about from hearing about it for years from me. And I don't think she was prepared, but she loved it too. So hopefully that means that she's going to come back. I know Katy for sure is going to come back.
I don't have your sheet.
Oh,
I just realized.
Oh, I printed it out.
Did you bring it up?
Maybe not.
Can we go grab it real quick?
Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Anyway, so speaking of our little sheet, we're talking about like our sales numbers or whatever. So we were gone for 10 days. So we didn't have a Sunday show last week. So we didn't go over those numbers. This is only for this last week because that's just the way we do it. We go from the previous Sunday through the end of the day, Saturday. So yesterday, you know, normally you got it.
No.
Okay. Did I not print it? Okay, I'll print it right now. Okay, hold please, everybody. Anyway, normally when we go away, so what we do is we don't put our stuff on vacation. We just extend our handling time. And what I've found is whenever we go on a trip like this, I feel like Vicki's sales almost are like even better than when we're home. It's like so crazy. Like she'll get like these crazy sales. And okay, I'm printing it now. And then mine usually suffer quite a bit more. This time around, it seemed like it was a little bit of the opposite. My sales actually were pretty decent. Like had I been home and had the sales that I had this last week, these last 10 days, I actually would have been okay with it. Like it wasn't like mind-blowing sales, but I would have been pretty like okay, happy with these for summer numbers. And it was while we were on vacation, while we were gone for 10 days. We did schedule out listings to happen every day, so I had mine set up to kind of spread out. Oh, it's having an error. It's saying an error on the printing. So you might need to give it up and bring your other sheet up. Or I have the other sheet. I said it's saying that there's an error on the printing. So that might be the problem. Hold, please. Do you have anything? Huh?
No, go ahead. I guess we don't do my numbers this week.
Well, you can just say you know what they were, basically.
I really don't.
I know what they were, basically. So
I guess you can share the screen.
The screen. Oh, that's true. I'm done.
Sorry, guys.
We're
just really tired and technologically challenged at the moment.
No, I actually can share the screen. I'm just silly for not thinking of that. But you are very smart, and so we'll be able to do this. Actually, it'll be easiest if I do the print because then it shows it. Okay, so what I was saying is that my sales were actually okay. I was pretty happy with them, but yours probably had a more normal route.
Mine will drop terrible. I dropped about 50%.
Now I anticipate, because we're going to continue for the next week of not really doing jack when it comes to work. I have a feeling I'm going to
try to get up at like 5 a.m. so I can list 4 or 5 new items every day anyway.
Yeah, or do it at night. I don't even know, guys. This is the challenge, right? So
let's go ahead. Do it at night. We're not going to be home before midnight any night this week.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead and share our numbers. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? Do you want to break your bad news?
I'll go first.
All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and Vicki can cry a little bit while she tells you what she did.
It's horrible, guys. Horrible.
There you go.
Okay, so 29 orders on eBay, 6 on Etsy, 35 total. As you know, I didn't list a darn thing. My eBay sales are $1,227, Etsy $294 for a total of $1,521. $172 in shipping, $35.30 in promoted listing fees. eBay final value fee $295, Etsy fees $26.48, total costs of $528.78. My cost of goods were super low, which is thank goodness. So that helped a little bit, but my total net sales just over $900 for the week. Ugh, terrible. So my average sale price is still decent. I like to be around $40, $45 or higher, of course, but at least 40. And my net average sale price was 25 and change, almost $26.
Yeah.
So not, the numbers were not great, but it is what it is. So this is my first week having a bad week like this bad in probably 8 months.
Yeah. It's just, it's crazy because
maybe more, probably 9 months. I don't think I've had a week this bad since the end of last summer.
So I had okay sales throughout the week, the last 10 days. But yesterday, it's like, okay, day 10 of us being away. Yesterday I had like one of my best sales days ever. Today I'm actually having a pretty good sales day. It's just like I haven't
sold a darn thing today.
I don't even know, guys. But I'm telling you, it catches up to you.
My store is dead.
Because mine's probably going to crash and burn this week.
People say it's crickets. My crickets are dead.
Oh, poor little crickets. Okay, so here's my week. I don't like using that screen sharing image. Maybe we should do that in the future instead of printing it out. It would probably make a lot more sense.
Wicked smart.
And here's the wicked smart. All right, so eBay 26 items, Etsy 13, for a total of 39. Oh, sorry, 26 orders, because I actually had 3 different multi-order sales or multi-item sales. eBay gross sales $1,366.92. Etsy gross sales $760.08. So my total gross $2,127. My Etsy's actually doing pretty good right now. My shipping, I had to estimate because I haven't actually done my shipping yet. But it's like when it comes to I'm shipping out a lot of t-shirts and jackets. I know what stuff's going to go first class or padded flat rate, so it's pretty easy to estimate what my shipping's going to be. So usually I add up the actual shipping costs, but in this case it's an estimate $200. My promotion fees for both Etsy and eBay $98.92. And you can see my final value fees and my Etsy fees there. So my total cost $531.39. My cost of goods $305. My total net sales after costs $1,290.61. My gross average sale price $54.54, and as I always say, I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, I would always love for it to be higher, but I like to keep it between 50 and 60 if I can at the lowest. And my net average sale price $33.09. So yeah, mine actually, I actually ended up doing okay. I only had a couple of people. I had one person ask, like, a couple of people asked when I was shipping. One person was like, when he realized that it was going to be like another week before I even shipped it, he wanted a refund. I kind of didn't respond for like a day, and I sent another response back, and I was like, are you sure? It's going to ship out on Monday. You should get it by Wednesday. And then he finally was like, when he responded again, it was yesterday, and he said, so it's going to go out on Monday. I guess I've waited long enough. I might as well wait a little longer. So I was able to avoid a $100 refund.
Oh, good.
And another person that had asked when I told him, oh, you know, it has, because I always say, like, well, it's got extended handling time, and that's fine.
I always do too. I always say you may or may not have noticed that when you made your purchase, there was an extended handling time of 10 days. I realize that not everybody notices those details. I am currently on vacation, and all of your items will be shipping on Monday promptly. And every single one went, I'm so sorry to bother you. Enjoy your vacation.
The other couple people that had asked were fine with it. Because, I mean, it does, I know when you do that extended extra, anything over, I think anything over 4 days handling time, eBay will actually make a note of it. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that. It says, like, once you do, like, extensive extended handling time, because we're doing, like, 10 days. Yeah. It actually has it includes a note to the buyer, like, hey, this has extended handling.
Yeah, so like Michelle asked, do you send your buyers a message? No, because eBay does it for you, first of all. And second of all, when I'm doing a handling time that long, it's because I'm away and I don't have easy every second access to my phone or my eBay app. We had very, very spotty cell service, and internet service was almost non-existent where we were. We were in the mountains. So if they don't know how to read, it's kind of on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of lover talk in the chat. Lover. All
right, you all suck.
At least I've seen at least 3 or 4 people. Cheryl, you love Cheryl.
I do love
and
Cheryl.
Cheryl says, Katie, my lover Larry wants to know what your shirt says. It actually says, hard pipe hitters, call me, what does it say?
Call me criminal.
Call me criminal. It's actually a punk band here in Vegas, and it's got E.T. and Michael Jackson on it.
Susie, I only send that message if they ask me where their stuff is. So,
but I'm like, I had 40 orders, and I've had a few more today, but I've had 40 orders over the last 10 days, and only like 3 people asked when it was going to ship.
I had about 5, and they all asked me like yesterday. I'm like, well, it's already Saturday, so I mean, it's going out in 2 days. So I didn't really have any problems. The one thing I did have some issues with this week, and I don't think it has anything to do with the handling time, but I probably had 3 or 4 people make some pretty significant purchases and then 5 minutes later cancel. So I was like, you people, jerks.
What up, Katy in the UK? Katy, who spells her name in a very cool way.
Yeah,
like I spell my
Katy
name.
in the UK.
What's happening? Anyway, yeah, so Big Thrift Allison, her sales are slowish, but she's got her now she's got her shaved ice side hustle. She bought
a shaved ice truck
or a little cart or whatever. And I'm pretty excited about that. And I did have to make sure, is it actually like shaved ice, or is it like the kind that's like all crunchy, like snow cones? It's the shaved ice, and that stuff's good because it like melts in your mouth and it's delicious. And I wanted to bring us some.
I don't think it will keep.
You don't think so? Lame.
She might have a very wet suitcase when she gets here, and that wouldn't be fun.
That's true. Anyway, all right. So those were our numbers for the last week. So I think it kind of shows that, you know, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like you never totally know. Like in your case, you kind of feel like having those 10 listings a day didn't really do much to help.
Did nothing. I have to be honest. I ended about 120 listings and then reworked them all and did sell similar and scheduled them. Like I really did actually tweak them and rework them, so my older stuff, and did sell similar and scheduled them out at 10 a day for the 10 days that we were gone. It really, not one of those things sold, but I also don't think it really increased my activity. So to be honest with you, I'm not going to bother doing that. I did it this time because
I mean, it's kind of one of those things that it's impossible to say what contributes to or doesn't contribute to sales while you're away. So, I mean, obviously My sales were pretty good. I'm going to continue to do it. I mean, I would still suggest you continue to do it. Just
I mean, this is the first. I mean, it only happens once a year. We go away this often. Well, twice. We go to Rhode Island too. But this is the first time I've had crappy sales while on vacation. So you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, people are asking about shaved ice in Alaska.
She just scoops it off the ground.
Yeah. First of all,
stuff.
It's actually been like in the 80s and like maybe 80s, 90s in Alaska. So it does get warm there, guys, where in certain places it's not snow all year round. But Allison told me a really fun fact recently, and she said that Alaskans eat the most ice cream per capita in the U.S. I don't need it to be hot to eat ice cream. I don't care. I will eat ice cream year round.
I'm not a big ice cream fan, so
yeah.
And well, not that shaved ice is ice cream. It isn't. It's entirely different. I'm not even a big shaved ice fan. I mean,
I like it. Num 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 num.
It's just you're just putting. I mean, I get it. It's just.
Oh, Candace.
Weird, apparently.
See the above question. Let me see what you said. Let me look. Oh, she wants to know if I saw the Instagram post the director of American Horror Story put up about the new coming season. You know what? I'm behind a couple of seasons, to be honest.
I'm like behind like 3.
And I actually really do like the show. I just haven't had. I need to go back and like actually catch up and watch them again. So no, I did not.
There's nothing else on TV. We should probably do that.
We probably should. So we should probably do that. Yeah, Michelle says that she got 2 nasty messages on Monday with just a 3-day handling time.
These people get over yourself.
Listen, guys. Everybody's different. But haven't you ever gotten like one of those messages where somebody orders something and an hour later they're like, "When is this going to ship? Have you shipped it yet?" It's like, and that's with 1 day handling.
Let me be sure to teleport it directly into your backyard, please. I think it's because people have gotten used to Amazon Prime, which is great. Amazon Prime used to be 1 to 2 days. Amazon Prime for us now, and I don't know if anyone else is having these issues, but Amazon Prime is 3 and 4 days on a lot of items now. They can't even do it in 2 days anymore.
Yeah. Jen has a very important question for you, Vicki. Mm-hmm. She wants to know what your dating rules were for your daughter because she's having a semi-crisis with her teen. Well, first of all, she was grounded a lot.
she kind of was. So she was... In hindsight, okay, let me just give you my experience in hindsight. In hindsight, I had 1 child that I raised. In hindsight, I would say that you probably want to make sure you pick your battles. I was a super, super strict mom. You know, I got pregnant at 17, you know, and so for me, my main goal was to make sure that my daughter got through high school, figured out what she wanted to do with her life, didn't get pregnant too early, all of that kind of stuff. Like I was really strict. I was really on top of her. Like I always knew where she was, who she was with, what she was doing. And you know, that's just good parenting. But she was always grounded. She was super mouthy and disrespectful, which comes a lot with teenage girls and their moms.
I was perfect.
That's just part of mother-daughter dynamic in the teen years. And I realize that now. But I was probably grounding her like all the time because it didn't matter. She didn't care that she was grounded. So it wasn't really an effective form of punishment, honestly. So she didn't get to do a lot of stuff. So I feel like I maybe kept her from doing some stuff as a teenager that she should have been able to do. Like she went to proms and all that stuff. But anyway, she skipped a grade. That's part of another reason I was just going to say. So my daughter was really smart and she tested off the charts. I probably could have skipped her from kindergarten into 5th or 6th grade. I never would have done that. It's awful for developmental reasons, but I did skip 1 grade. So she graduated. She was just barely 17. And the way that I looked at it was she had an early birthday and then some kids have a late birthday. So she was really like 6 or 8 months younger than the next youngest kid in her class usually. But because of that, I had to let her date early. So I was letting her date at 15 versus 16 because all of her friends were 16 and I couldn't hold her back a year when all of her other friends were dating.
But then she was dating girls, so that made it a little easier.
Yeah, and she dated girls a lot in high school.
So that made it a little easier for you to like not be so
She came out as bi when she was a teenager, so then I was kind of like, okay, well, I guess she can't get pregnant. So
which is a horrible way of looking at it, but it's true. I mean, you kind of, that's probably one of, especially because you got pregnant when you were a teenager and you were in high school. Of course, your probably number 1 fear at that time was that she was going to date a boy and get pregnant and like basically repeat the same pattern. So when she was like dating girls, you were like, hallelujah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then she started dating boys and I was like, gosh. Yeah. But anyway, so I started letting her date at about 15 instead of 16. No going in cars with boys until she was 16 or 17. And I had to know who they were.
Yeah.
They had to come to my house, boys or girls. They had to come to my house, introduce themselves to me and sit through dinner before I would let her get in a vehicle with them. So yeah, and Barbara, that's exactly what my daughter Allie did. She skipped from K to 2nd.
Yeah.
So
I didn't
she was
really
reading at 3. Kindergarten was redundant.
Yeah, I didn't really date anyone in high school. Maybe a little bit like freshman, sophomore year. Sophomore year, I dated Josh LaBoo. We held hands and listened to what was that? What's that band that that our friend really likes a lot? Carrie really likes a lot. I don't remember. Anyway, we so I didn't really date, and then I was a really good kid, and I actually was not mouthy and disrespectful to my mother. I was a very good kid. I did get in fights with my dad a bit towards the end of high school, but that was usually over me not liking the way he was talking to my mother. So I would come to her defense. But I was actually a very good kid. My sister was the
Jen,
wild one.
you know what, Jen? That sounds like something I would have done. Feel free to send me some PMs, and I'll listen to that's absolutely groundable offense in my opinion, for sure. And if she drives, you take those car keys.
Ooh, never had a problem with her ever. Yeah, that's tough. All right, so let's move on to sales highlights for the last week. We don't have a ton of them. I think you picked out like 6 of them, so I kind of matched yours. So we don't have as much as we usually do, but let's go ahead and look. And
like I said, my sales were pretty mediocre, so you know.
Yeah, so mine were pretty good. So I actually have, I had more that I could have shared. It was a little tough to figure out which ones I wanted to share.
I wasn't an awful teen. I did get pregnant young, but it was my high school boyfriend I was with from the time I was 14. I lived on my own. You know, I was in DCF custody when I was a teenager, and then moved into group home, and then actually became an emancipated minor at 17. So I had my own place from the time I was 17. I haven't lived at home, so I didn't really know how to raise an older teenager because I hadn't been raised that way.
Yeah.
So it was a different thing.
All right, go ahead.
So this was one of my items that I picked up at Dorothy's Hoarder House.
What?
I paid $5 for this, and I priced it high. I priced it higher than all of the others, and I did take an offer on it, but I took an offer for $80. They offered $10 off of my.
I love it when that happens.
Sale price. I was like, yes, I will sell that to you.
Yeah, I always love it when that happens. All right, so this is this awesome Waylon Jennings t-shirt that I got from Buffalo Exchange. So I probably paid like $12 for it, 10 to 12 bucks for it. It's only like a few weeks ago, and let me tell you, I'm really, really good about making sure that when something sells on one platform, I take it off of the other one. And I only have my vintage stuff on eBay and Etsy, so it's pretty easy to make sure I do that. In this case, I was, you know, I was a little busy. It was a little harder because we were at camp and stuff like that to make sure that stuff was immediately getting taken down. And man, I took an offer. Somebody offered $80 for it. I took an offer, and so it was like, you know, $80 bucks. That's pretty decent. And plus, any decent offer while we were away, I'm like, I'll take it because I just wanted to have some sales. But let me tell you, this was the one item that I did not take it down fast enough, and it sold on Etsy too. Only on Etsy, it sold for like I have stuff on sale over there, so it sold for like $98. It sold for $98, and I went ahead and I had to cancel it on Etsy because I already have one canceled for out of stock on eBay, and I just don't want to get in the habit of doing that. So
you're usually pretty good at taking stuff down.
I am. Yes, I'm very.
Just
that's
didn't
what I'm
have
saying.
the time.
It was tough to like be right on top of it. I'm usually like immediately, because you know, with this work, we're constantly on our phones or constantly on the computer. It's not like if you're doing this as a full-time job and you don't have another job, you're not going large periods of time without looking at your phone or looking at your computer. So it actually is very easy to keep on top of it. But I was a little bummed because I could have sold it for like more like $100. But whatever, $80 is still a good price. All right, next one for you.
So this one I showed in a haul video, and I can't remember what I paid for it, but I'm pretty sure we went in 50% off day, and I think it had been priced at $7.
That's
so like
super recent.
$3.50. It was listed for about a week. And I knew that it was going to sell for around this price. I priced it on the higher end. And yeah, this was like new and open box, but this is one of their earlier versions of this thing. Remember we were talking, it was kind of like the Flowbee. It's like I don't know, it cuts your ends, whatever, split ends. Anyway, so it sold for $90. It weighs about a pound. I haven't shipped it yet, but sold for $90. They didn't even make an offer. They just bought it at the sale price.
I mean, we haven't shipped any of this stuff yet. So
exactly.
All right, next one for me is this awesome Spider-Man sweater. Now, it's funny because when I got this came in a box from my guy in Pennsylvania. When I got this, it's not stained or anything, but it was super pilly. Like it you know, and the thing about sweaters, sometimes when they're like crazy covered in pills and pilly or whatever, they can look pretty rough. But I could tell.
That one did. That one looked rough at first. I remember saying like, "Oh, I wouldn't have picked that up."
Yeah, it kind of makes them look kind of grungy and gross. But I could tell that I just needed to take a good sweater shaver to it, and so I spent a little time, and I got everything off. And I think it actually, you know, it ended up looking really cool. It's just kind of a cool sweater. And yeah, it sold for this price, $69.99. This one's actually going, I think it's going to Canada. So it actually, they paid for the shipping as well. So nice. I got a good price out of that.
You did, and you're going to get a little bit more because you're using pirate ship too.
Yep. I would have had to send it padded flat rate, so it would have cost
me. If that
me,
would fit in a padded flat rate. That's a bulky sweater.
I can make it happen.
You're good at rolling that stuff.
So it would have cost me $733 to ship it, but since it's been paid for by the buyer, I'm going to make some more money.
So yeah, Krista, no internet issues on our end, but you may just need to hit refresh or go in and change your resolution on your screen, and you should be okay.
Yeah. All right, next one for you.
So this is another one. I took an offer for $75. It was on sale for $90. I think I had originally paid around $10, maybe even as much as $15 for this because I knew it was a good coat. So at max, I paid $15. It sold for $75, and it actually will package up and ship for under £1 because it's goose down. It's super light. So I was pretty excited about that. Took a $75 offer. They asked me a measurement on it right before I left. Thank God I was able to get it. It was a measurement I didn't have. It was something like the measurement across the bottom of the hem, which that's not something that I standardly would measure. Maybe the person has bigger legs or something and they wanted to make sure it would button all the way around. I'm not sure because this ball's like mid-thigh. But in any case, I gave them the measurement and then they ended up buying it a couple of days later after we left.
Yep. All right. So this is this Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. I wasn't entirely sure when. It didn't have like a date anywhere on it.
Because there were no tags, right?
No, it has a tag. No, I guess it doesn't have a tag.
I remember it not having a tag.
But also in the graphic, it doesn't have any tags on it. But the style, this all over print, is very 90s-esque or early 2000s. So I just put vintage 90s aughts all over print. And I ended up taking, somebody offered $100, and I'm like, $100, I'll take it. And this is actually the guy who was like, who wanted to cancel because it was going to take too long. But as we got closer to the date, he was like, never mind, I'll go ahead and keep it. Because it's like, if you're going to pay $100 for a shirt like this,
for a used t-shirt, why you need it tomorrow?
Who cares if you have to wait a week? Like, obviously you're into.
It's not like you're going to get another one.
I mean, I totally get, yeah, exactly. I totally get like being bummed that you're not going to get it sooner, but there aren't any other ones that he's listed anywhere. And it's like, so you got to wait a week.
I get if you're buying something that's, you know, a consumable product or something that you need right away for a specific reason. I totally get it. You're buying luggage. You're going on a trip. You can't wait the 10 days handling.
I think it's just irritated that he was going to have to wait so long. And I get it. Like, you know, you want to get it right away. So, all right, next one for you.
So this is another one. I took an offer on this. I probably would have sold. Look, my pictures are freaking awful. Jesus. Every time we do this, I'm like, ugh. Anyway, it sold anyway. So I paid $10 for this set, and I sold it for an offer of $95. They paid today. I probably could have held out and gotten closer to, you know, the actual. It says it sold for $139. It didn't. I did take an offer, but I probably could have sold closer to the $139. I just didn't really care that much. You know, anything. You know, paid $10. I was trying to make a sale this week, so I was happy with that price.
Bye, Dana.
Bye, Dana. We'll see you tonight.
She's got to go run errands and do her petty time as well. Because I'm assuming she's doing a mani-pedi, but
she's going to join us for tacos tonight.
Yay! All right. Next one for me is this awesome Hair Jordan t-shirt that I love. So if you remember, I bought this t-shirt and a Grateful Dead t-shirt. I paid $100 for this t-shirt and the Grateful Dead t-shirt. Now I definitely paid more than I would normally pay for something. Like, it wasn't going to be as big of a return, I guess. But because of specifically what this is, and because my store is all about vintage streetwear.
What did you pay for this one again? Sorry, I mean.
I paid $100 for this and a Grateful Dead t-shirt.
Oh, jeez.
So but within, here's my whole reasoning behind that. Within the streetwear community, this, like, you know, Michael Jordan stuff and this is like the the vintage gray tag, because this particular T-shirt is like a really sought after T-shirt, and it's very much like a key kind of piece within the community of the people who collect this kind of stuff. Same thing for the Grateful Dead T-shirt that I got. But I did end up taking an offer for $125 for this one, and I don't have it showing here, but I also sold the Grateful Dead one for $70. So I basically paid $100, turned around, sold for $100 or $200 altogether. Yes, with fees and everything. Like, I didn't make a ton of money on it, but for me, it's all about, I'm in a niche market with what I sell. And it's all about making sure I'm always having really cool pieces come through my store.
Keep it interesting. Yeah.
So, because I have people who do come back and look, and I want really cool pieces to come through. So it elevates my store overall. And so that's important for me and how I sell. Would I recommend to anybody spend that much money for something that's only going to get that much of a return? No, not necessarily, because if you sell everything, it's not really going to do anything to bring people back. You're making a lot of noise. What do you think you're doing?
I may or may not be opening a bag of Skittles, or a bag that was already partially opened.
Interesting.
They seem to have a lot of orange.
That's because you've already like picked through all of it. Okay, so next one for you. So your Etsy.
This one I've had quite a while. This was on Etsy. I had a customer message me. It was listed for, I think, $110. Etsy, you can't put best offer on items. So if somebody wants to offer you something, they generally send you a message. So I had a customer send me a message and ask me if I would accept less. And I did have a little sale running on my store at Etsy while I was gone as well. But I went in and adjusted the price, because there's really no other way to do that. You can send them a coupon code, or you can adjust them in price. And I was happy to accept her offer. I'd had this listed for well over a year. I don't know why it was listed for so long, probably because it's super tiny. And it's a strange St. John knit dress, but it is vintage.
It's cute.
It is cute, and it has those gold buttons. There was a little schmutz on one spot, as you can see. But
all right, let's go ahead and check out what it actually sold for. Now, we always use Flipper Tools. It's a free website that you can use to see what something on Etsy sold for. You can also use it to look at eBay. So like when we show our solds and it says it sold for a certain price, and we're like, we actually took an offer for lower. This is one. There's a couple of different websites you can go to. This is a good one too for seeing what something actually sold for with best offer, and it's totally free. So it's a good tool to use. There you go.
Sold for $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're too busy chewing on.
I was chewing a Skittle. Sorry, I can't tell you what I originally paid for it, but I do know that it was under $10, and I've had it for over a year.
Yeah.
Whoever had it priced, I did pick it up at a thrift store, and wherever it was priced, they didn't realize it was St. John, because it was priced the same as a regular dress, and I think it maybe $7.99, something like that.
Yeah. So Susie, so she does the same thing, like paying quite a bit for certain items to sell in the store. She says she calls them ringer items. I think that's a good term, good terminology. Okay, let's go here. So this one, I just showed this one, like a couple weeks ago?
Probably right before we left.
Right before we left. This, I don't even know how do you pronounce this brand?
Gerbeau.
Just Gerbeau. So this one I bought at, I think it was a 50% off day, maybe. I don't remember. But I paid up for it. I think I paid like $15 for it with the discount and everything. And even if you look at solds, there's not amazing comps. Like, there's some stuff that sells for a lot, and there's a lot that sells for quite a little,
super cheap. Yeah,
super cheap. So, but a lot of the reason I bought this was based on the style, the color and the style, and this kind of military, almost field jacket sort of style. It's made in the US. It's just a cool jacket, and clearly it didn't take long for me to sell it. Let's see, what did I end up selling? I don't even remember what I sold it for. Let's go ahead and look. But it sold really fast. Like, it was a fast turnaround. So 111. Oh, this one I actually did not sell for 111. Somebody offered. They wanted to buy it, and they asked if I would take 100. And I said, yeah, I can do that. And so I priced it at 111 because my store was on sale for 10% off while I was gone. And so this ended up made it like $99.90 or whatever. So I had to price it that way, because what will happen is if you change the price, like you've dealt with that, it automatically takes off whatever the sale price is. So anyway, so I basically sold it for $100. So that was a good quick flip.
It was. This is just a basic J. Crew dress. I just like the graphic and the print on it. Some of the older Earlier J. Crew dresses sell really well. This is a nice linen dress. It's like
really cute.
It's super cute. Like if I lived in New England still and I could fit in that, obviously, I would wear something like that. I thought it was really pretty.
Yeah, it's adorable. All right, let's see what we sold it for. Bam.
$79.95. I believe I paid up for this one too. I think I probably paid close to $10 because of the pattern and because the thrift stores seem to price J. Crew super high lately. I don't really know why. I don't buy a lot of J. Crew. It's got to be something that I really like for me to buy it at all, because it is just such a mid-level mainstream brand. But some of the older stuff sells really well, and cashmere and things like that still do really well.
Well, just one of those things where resellers get so bent out of shape about like thrift stores, you know, pricing stuff up that's like, you know, name certain brands and stuff like that. But the reality is that usually they're just like other sellers. If you've ever been around like a lot of other sellers, there's varying degrees of expertise. And the reality is that most of them are earning minimum wage, and they probably don't really have the skill set to really know what brands sell, don't sell. I mean, it's hard enough for us as sellers. And J. Crew is one of those brands where it's like, oh, it's a brand that's like a well-known brand.
Well, it is, and it's also it is a good brand.
Sure.
J. Crew and Banana Republic are still very expensive brands and very nicely made clothing.
But but when it comes to resale value,
exactly, resale value, you know, like Ann Taylor Loft, all that kind of stuff, still super high priced when you're paying retail, but they do not hold their resale value.
All right. Last one here, guys. This is this awesome Chaps Ralph Lauren sweatshirt that I got when we were in New England. So we're talking about New England.
Back in May.
It was one of the items. I didn't get a lot of stuff there, but it was probably my #1 favorite item because it's just got this awesome embroidery on the front of it, like this kind of crest going on. And it's just really cool. I like the coloring on it, and so you're making a lot of noise there.
I am making skittle
eater. All right, so let's go ahead and see what did I sell it for, and bam, $140.
Nice.
Actually, it was on sale, so whatever 10% off of that would be.
$14 off that.
And I think it might be going. I haven't shipped any of this stuff yet. I'm pretty sure this one's going international. I can't remember exactly. I think it might be going to the UK, but yeah. So it was 10% off of $139.99. So I was pretty happy with that.
Woo!
That was pretty funny. Okay, so what? Well, hey, it's Grandma Cheap. Yeah, lots of loud noises. So anyway, yeah, get your damn Skittles out.
Okay,
it's like all set. I better get some greens and some limes and some grapes here because she's
get out.
She's gonna eat them all, and then all I have left is orange.
Go away.
Oranges. Anyway, so yeah, so we were able to go to one thrift store. Our friend Carrie, we stayed with her parents because she lives in New England as well now, but she's from Washington, and so you always go and you stay with her parents, who are super awesome. And so we stayed there, and it was fun. But on Friday, we had to go run a bunch of errands and pick up a bunch of stuff,
last minute stuff, snacks, and some things for the kids in the cabin that we didn't ship.
With camp, they have all these themes throughout the week. Each day has a different theme. And so Carrie actually needed to pick up a few more things. She hadn't really gotten anything for her theme stuff. And so she was like, let's go to Value Village. And she's like, because she knew that we want to shop there too. So we got to go to Value Village and we got to buy
Larry,
some
I'll save you some Skittles. Get on the plane with Cheryl and come visit.
Anyway, so we were able to do a little bit of shopping, so that was nice to just get. I love it. I always like being able to do that when we go, anytime we travel, even if it's not what the trip is all about. So that was cool. But before we get into showing what we bought while we were there, we don't have a ton of stuff.
Nope.
I want to say real quick, remind everybody again that Wednesday we are doing a live show on Wednesday. It's going to be at 1 o'clock, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. We are doing a live show with a live studio audience, okay?
Which means if you're watching this show and you are in Vegas and you want to come, you are invited. You do not need a specific invitation.
You don't need to be going to open.
You don't need to be going to open. It is going to be in the Luxor Hotel, which is connected to Mandalay Bay. So if you're staying at Mandalay Bay, just follow the signs. You can walk yourself right through to the Luxor. It does take about 20 minutes to get from the convention center to where the penthouse suite is that we're having the show. So please factor that time in. We will be doing the show from 1 o'clock until probably about 2:30 or so. You know, we can't ever do a show in under an hour, and especially when there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it's going to be the penthouse suite in the Luxor. We will post the room number in the Boss Facebook group, and we'll also put it on our Instagram pages. But if you are in Vegas or you're at the convention and you want to know where it is, just find myself or Katy or Key Money.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a really fun live show. So we love to have as many people as possible that want to come be there for the live studio audience.
We can't post. The only reason we're not telling you the suite number now is because Mel doesn't get here until tomorrow. She can't check in until tomorrow, so we won't know the number. So we're going to have a live studio audience. We will have guests. We will have some of you, if you want to be on camera, if you want to talk, we'll be happy to have you come up for like a minute or two. Sure.
So that we can, everybody who wants to
we're anticipating at least 50 people, maybe more. So
yeah, it's really hard to say how many people are going to be there, because
just from the people that keep saying they're coming anyway.
Yeah, because the convention, eBay Open's going to be going on. There's going to be workshops happening at the time, which is too bad. But it's the nice thing about eBay, the way they set it up, is they have different topics and everything happens multiple times.
At least twice.
So you should be able to go through and make sure that you're able to hit any workshops that you are really important to you. And maybe there's going to be one that's only happening, the only time you can go is during our show, and so unfortunately you'll miss it. But you should be able to get to see any of the topics that you want to. But anyway, we're going to be giving out awesome prizes, and I wanted to tease one of the prizes. I'm going to tease. I'm going to show you what it is. I mean, that's not really much of a tease. When we were at the Pride party, when we went to Pride in San Francisco, every year eBay puts on this big party, and it's really for the employees. It's not for sellers. It's really for the employees, because they're in San Jose, so they're within like 45 minutes or so of San Francisco. So they are super involved in Pride, and they throw this big party. And so they invited a handful of sellers, and we got to go to this party, and it was all these different people that we had never met before. So it's kind of cool, because we got to see like a lot of the the people who make eBay happen that aren't just
behind the scenes, the drones at eBay, the people that make it work. Not the people that head up all the departments that we meet at Open or we see, on the internet and doing shows. Well, those people are wonderful as well, but there's thousands and thousands of people that work behind the scenes at a corporation like eBay.
So there were at least a few hundred workers there, employees there and stuff. And so they're handing all kinds of swag, and I'm sure a lot of it, like we showed last time after we came, these really cool eBay sunglasses. I'm sure a lot of this stuff is going to be at Open. They're going to have, I'm sure they probably will have these same sunglasses
somewhere. They were too cool not to use them,
because they always give out a bunch of stuff at Open. So I'm sure a lot of it's going to be there as well. But we're walking around, and I look over and I see somebody walk by, and they are wearing an eBay fanny pack. Okay? An eBay fanny pack.
What?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Wow, I'm impressed. So Vicki,
you're welcome.
Yeah, okay, so it's pretty good. Anyway, I saw somebody, and I really was like, what? And I'm from across the room. I seriously ran over to this person, and I was like, where did you get that? Because here's the thing, guys. Fanny packs, they go in and out of fashion. There was a while, probably 10 years ago, where it was all about like, oh, I'm going to be an ironic hipster, and I'm going to wear an ugly fanny pack or whatever. But within the streetwear community, fanny packs are back. They are back, and
they're everywhere. They're in every
cool.
store.
They're very cool. They're very hip. You'll see a lot of guys that that kind of follow along the whole streetwear fashion thing, who use fanny packs. They tend to wear them. They tend to sling them like across their chest,
like you do,
like I do, like kind of almost like a crossbody fanny pack. They don't really wear them around the waist as much.
Listen, those of us that are boobalicious,
she's not into it. Yeah,
not a good look. It's not cute.
So see, Susie's like freaking out over there about this fanny pack. So I was so excited, because I'm like, there's eBay fanny pack. So I run over to this person. I'm like, how did you get that? Where'd you get that fanny pack? And I think there were a couple of people. It was like a guy and a girl, and they were like, oh, we're new interns, and we got these at the orientation for our internship program. And I was like, what in the what in the what? And I was like, I got to figure out how I can get me one of those. And so I had to do like some investigating. I had to figure out who was in charge of the orientation
for new employees.
Luckily, she was there. And I was able to get somebody to introduce me to her. And then I kind of like started crying and sobbing and lamenting.
She was kind of pathetic.
Threw myself on the ground, caused a big scene. And I was like, is there any way that I could get my hands on one of those fanny packs? And she was like, well,
she's like, I'll buy one, whatever I got to do.
Yeah,
I just want one.
Yeah. And so she was like, well, you know, they refer our interns. She's like, I don't know if I have any left, but here's my email. Get in touch with me when you get back home, and I will see if I can find some. And so I emailed her right away. Right when I get home, I email her, of course. Okay. And I get. Like
I don't even think you were home yet.
Yeah, and I get like an auto response that says she's out of the office until the 8th. So if you remember, we were there on the 30th. So she was gone for like the whole next week, and I'm like, oh,
see, man. Susie Biatch living up to her name right there.
What? Yeah, you shut up. I'm teasing. I'm building up to it. It's a good story. So anyway, she's gone for a whole week, and I'm like, there's no way she's gonna come back. She's gonna have a million emails to answer. Like, I'm probably gonna have to like bug her again, and it's gonna be weird because I'm gonna be harassing her. Well, what does she do? She emails me back the morning that she gets back. It's not even the afternoon. It's like that morning, and she's like, listen, I'm gonna go look and see what I have. What's your address, just in case I find it? And then like another like week goes by. It's like while we're at camp, I get an email from her, and she's like, I found them. I found them. Mm-hmm. She's like, I found 4 of them. And she's like, so I'm going to go ahead and get this sent out to you. And so then I'm like, man, I wish I could ask her for more than one. But I was like, I can't be greedy. I can't be greedy. So I didn't ask her for more than one. But she said in her message, I'm like, oh, that's super awesome. You're the best. I hope I get it by it open. I'm going to be wearing it open. And then she responds back and she's like, I'll get these out in the mail to you. I'll get these. And I was like, these? It's like, when you're like, when you're starting to date somebody and you're like analyzing every message that they send you and you're like, what does this mean? Well, I'm like analyzing this message and I'm like, these? Do you think she means I'm getting more than
She did say this, by the way. This whole conversation is real. This happened.
Yeah. I'm like, do you think she means that I'm going to get more than one? And then we get home, I open the box. All 4 of them were in there. She sent me all 4 of them, guys. I got all 4 of them. Look at my little fanny pack. Look at my little green fanny pack, guys. Anyway, this is there were 2 different colors. Now, Dana had just gotten done taking care of our dogs for 10 days, keeping them alive, keeping them fed, keeping them fat. So when she saw the fanny packs, she kind of swooped in and stole one. I mean, I gave her permission, but she did get one. So that,
hey, if I had wanted one, you would have given me one. So there you go. True. Dana got mine because there's no way in holy freaking hell I would wear that.
Yeah. So,
although if you are my Facebook friend or follow me on Instagram, you did see that I was wearing a fanny pack with a Hawaiian muumuu for Hawaiian Day at camp. Yeah, it was classic.
Susie Biatch, you shut your mouth. She said she's disappointed in my big buildup. Anyway, so this is the one that I had seen somebody wearing. I was super excited about. So this is mine. I did give one to Dana, begrudgingly. Just kidding. I gave one to Dana. Then
you're not kidding.
Then of course,
totally begrudgingly.
Then of course I reached out to T Money because, as we all know, T Money is the bossiest of all the bosses,
and she loves her.
And she loves eBay swag. And I'm like, I cannot like let Teresa miss out on this. So I sent her a message, and I'm like, listen, if you got an eBay fanny pack, would you actually wear it? Would you actually use it? She said, of course. So she actually claimed the other lime one. So now between me, Dana, and Teresa, we're down to 1. Guys, we're down to 1.
We're down to 1.
But let me tell you this, guys. I got a blue one right here. This.
It's not showing well, translating well on the screen, but this is a teal blue.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, it's between teal and blue. This one is still up for grabs, and this will be one of the prizes that we give out during our Wednesday show. I'm sorry to those of you who are not going to be present. We're only going to give out prizes to people who are actually present in our live studio audience. We already decided that we're going to get one of those rolls of tickets that where you tear it up, those prize tickets, because we want it to be as fair as possible. So everybody who comes to the show will get a ticket, and we're going to have a series of prizes. And this will be, I only have one of them to give away now, but this will be one of the prizes, the super awesome eBay fanny pack. And let me tell you guys, it's going to be a cool prize because, as far as I know, these were only made. These were only available for those interns. So this is going to be the envy of the ball. Okay, the envy of the ball. People are going to be asking if you have one of these. They're going to be like, "Where do I get one? How do I get one?
Only the cool kids have them.
How could you?
I'm not cool.
Not give me one." And I'm going to be like, "Sorry, but you could win this." Anyway,
so we've got a note from Greg. By the way, Greg, if you are already in town, I don't know what day you get in, but if you're already in town, please send me a message. You're more than welcome to come tonight. We'd love to meet you. If you are in town for open already.
That's a little risky.
What? Shut up. It'd be all girls. You'd be the token.
Yeah.
But hey, you know.
But yeah, so Greg actually busted out $9.99 for to enjoy our pre-open Sunday tacos. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. But for sure, Greg, if you're around and you want to come out with us, you should let us know, and we'll make that happen. Contact. I know you talked to Vicki more than me, so there you go.
Oh, I would totally go with my glitter tulle skirt for the last night of the party. You guys are really dressing it up. We actually we're not dressing up for the party on Thursday. I did see when they sent out a notification very recently, actually, which was a bit late in my opinion. They should have been capitalizing on advertising this, that it's kind of throwback Thursday or something along those lines for the closing party. So I think that there are not as many people that are going to be dressing up as normally would. I'm a dresser upper. Don't get me wrong. Had I more time to plan it, I totally would be, but not doing it.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah,
someone said they love the unicorn pajamas. Those were not mine. That was my best friend Carrie that was wearing those. She is the camp director. She's my friend that lives in Massachusetts. One of the assistant directors, I should say. And I was wearing my Pink Panther onesie.
Yeah. So Greg's not getting until tomorrow at noon. Joan wants to know if there's still a meet and greet tomorrow night.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, that's not us that's doing that. It's actually just a big gathering in general. There are lots of different micro groups and macro groups that are getting together. If you are in town, if you are attending open, if you're not attending open and live here, if you're visiting for the hell of it, anyone can show up. It's a bar. It's called the Skyfall Lounge. It's in the Delano. The Delano is like the towers that are attached to Mandalay Bay. Just follow the signs for Skyfall Lounge. I believe it's 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And it's kind of like the unofficial eBay meet and greet, right? There'll be some eBay people there, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of resellers hanging out, having a cocktail, having a glass of water, because it's hot and you're going to be hot and dehydrated. So drink your water, people.
I'm sorry.
What?
Do you guys remember earlier when Skittle Monster over here was like eating her Skittles? And I reached over and I was like, I better get me a few lime ones, a couple grape ones before she eats them all so that I can have some. And I took them, I separated them from her flock of Skittles, and I put them in front of me. Well, I guess while I was yammering on with my story.
There you go. You were
something happened because I just looked down. I haven't eaten any of them yet, guys, because I'm trying to be a little more respectful and not make you guys watch me eat and listen to me smack on Skittles. But I looked down, and this is what's left in front of me. Yeah, that's right. There's 3 orange Skittles.
The orange ones are gross.
And I'm pretty sure I had more than 3 orange ones. I think there were 4, so you might have even eaten an orange one. And now I'm looking down.
Greg's got me. You snooze, you lose. You
now I'm looking down, and like literally, it's just a bunch of orange ones sitting in front of me. You guys, she ate my lime and grape Skittles right out from under me. And like, what am I supposed to do now? Yeah, you're not getting any more. I got 3 more bags left. You're not touching them.
I didn't have that many. I only had like 25 of them.
All the good ones out of that whole bag.
Yes, I did. The orange ones are gross. They taste like St. Joseph's baby aspirin. Do you remember the chewable orange baby aspirin when you were a kid? That's what they taste like. Nasty.
Okay. Yeah, Barbara Colson says, hit the thumbs up, y'all. She's from Texas, so that's what she says.
Y'all, that's what they say it, y'all. All right, so we actually have, we've got a few things to show you. We don't have a ton. We only got about 5 things or so a piece to get into for our haul, because we really only went to the one store and we did nothing in between. So, Sonny says, send the orange ones back. Okay, we'll put them all in a Ziploc and I'll send them back to you.
I like the orange ones.
So anyway.
All right, do you want me to go first?
You can go first. I think you have a few more than I do, so.
Yeah. Oh, will you hand me that? I left my pile over there. Will you hand it to me? I got all your stuff up here for you. So rude. Thank you. All right, so I didn't get that much stuff either. So she was like, "Oh, I didn't have very much stuff. I'm not going to sit here while you show 30 T-shirts." I do not have 30 T-shirts to show, so I don't know what you're talking about. Probably one of the better things that I did score was this this really cool Adidas Originals, not vintage, but it's an Adidas Originals track jacket, and it's actually new with tags. And it's really cool. It was priced at $18.99, so it's a little bit more expensive than most stuff.
We had 20% off.
We did have 20. I had a 20% off thing to use, but it's cool. It actually has old school shoes on it,
Is that what's on it? I couldn't even tell.
Yeah,
I just like a big blur. Oh, now I see it. Now it's pulled back.
Yeah,
okay.
Their shoes.
I was too close. It just looked blurry.
Yeah, so it's new with tags. Really nice jacket. And I looked it up. I should be able to sell this for about $100. So this was actually a pretty cool buy. I don't know why somebody donated it, but it's still new with tags.
Maybe it was a gift and it's not their jam.
Yeah, maybe so. But the nice thing about thrifting in like Washington and Portland is you do come across a lot more like Adidas and Nike and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Krista says, thank you for pointing her toward Thrift Fever's channel. It's so good. Yeah, he's I've only watched a couple of his episodes. I'm going to try to catch up this week just because we sell the same things and I love his finds. He does a lot. He buys a lot of the same stuff I would buy, even though he's mostly doing shoes and some clothing. He doesn't do a ton of hard goods. The type of things that he would buy and the price points and the knowledge that he talks about is a lot of the same type of stuff that I do. And so maybe that's why I tell him that he's like my thrifting twin.
Well, one thing I think is really interesting about him is that I mean, I don't know how many years Rick's been selling. I'm not really sure. But I think he's been
selling for a while here and there, part-time here and there.
He has a job, which he's retiring from this fall, I believe. And his retirement plan is to go full-time with reselling. So I think that's pretty cool. But so I think he's been selling for quite a while. So he has a lot of knowledge as far as like being a reseller and a lot of knowledge when it comes to brands and stuff like that. And what I think is kind of cool is that he's building up his inventory so he can go full time. But he's starting with like kind of a smaller inventory and he's really focusing on, I think what's his average fee?
His average sale price is $65 or better, and he's focused on listing minimum of 7 items a day.
Yeah, and all higher valued stuff.
And he's doing it.
It's pretty cool. He doesn't have
so he'll pay up a little bit for stuff, but when you're paying $5, $10, $15 for something and you're going to get 65 minimum, it's worth it. You know, so he's not doing very much below that 65 price point. He's been selling some really cool stuff. And if you don't follow him on YouTube, definitely at least follow him on Instagram because he does post some of his cool finds.
Yeah. All right. So then I have this sweatshirt. I paid up a little bit for this. It's $14.49, and I paid, I got 20% off of that. This is a used sweatshirt, and on the back it says ice cream, and it's actually ice cream by Billionaire Boys Club. So what they call it, BBC. Why are you poking my armpit?
Because you have a hole in your t-shirt.
That's okay.
It's time to retire that t-shirt.
No, never. Anyway, if you look up some of the comps for this brand, it's like a streetwear brand, and some stuff sells for more than others, but this particular one with this little guy on the front of it, I saw had sold for like $100, but it didn't have this cool checkerboard pattern. So I want to see if I can sell it for like $80 to $100.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just this is just one. It's not vintage. This is like, there's a lot of like different streetwear brands out there that do really well. And this is just one of those that, again, it's not like a home run just because of the brand. Like I did some
but it has a cool graphic.
For the graphic and like kind of
What style. Is that supposed to be? What kind of animal is that supposed to be?
I don't remember. I'm not.
Fox?
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I knew that
a dog.
Like, I don't know this
brand.
An
otter? I don't know what this is. What do you guys think this is? A fox, a dog, an otter, a cat?
I don't know, but I don't know this brand super well, but I knew it enough. I knew it enough to look it up. That it was something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's one of those ones that sells for a little bit more. So I'm hoping I can get a little bit of money.
I probably would have grabbed that one too, just because it had a. Rhonda says it's a fox. I don't know what the heck it is.
Yeah.
Oh, Pacific 49 says a fox too. Okay, maybe they're known for foxy stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Juliana says, when I first started reselling, I didn't think Columbia Nike were all that great because I saw it everywhere in the Pacific Northwest.
I still don't think Columbia is all that great, to be honest with you.
It depends on what it is. But yes, because I started in Oregon, I got sick of Columbia stuff, and I just stopped buying it because even the vintage stuff, because I was just sick of it. But it does, some of it does sell.
Greg always makes me laugh. It's Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick's dog. Do you get the reference because of the checkerboard and anyway?
Heyo.
She doesn't get it.
Whatever. Anyway, this is a cool Carolina Panthers t-shirt. It looks like it's in pretty much like dead stock condition, and this is embroidered right here. So this is just this is like another one of those ones. It's the Nutmeg Mills, which is also the same as like Lee Sports, like used to be sold at Kmart. But it's a really cool graphic. I think this is a cool t-shirt. It's black, which is a good, desirable color and stuff like that. So when it comes to t-shirts.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I paid $6.99, so 20% off of that. I should be able to. I think I could sell this for $47.99.
So if Rick is my my thrifting twin, I also very much like the type of stuff that Greg buys too, because I'm always following his stuff that he posts. I think Greg is like my musical twin. It's like he's always making these music and movie references that you don't get that I get, because I don't get your music, but he does. He gets my music.
Well, his movie stuff tends to be more in line with the stuff that I know. Okay, so here is another one that's like dead stock. This is a Screen Stars, and this one's really cool because it's American Embassy, Lima, Peru.
I think that's cool.
I think it's super cool.
Like, how many of those could exist?
Right. I don't know if there's gonna be a lot. And this is like, it's dead stock. It's a brand new Screen Stars. So it's gonna be probably mid-80s. It's priced at $249. So they got 20% off of that, but it's just nice and crispy. It's very crispy. But I think that's a super cool t-shirt.
Greg, I have a feeling that you and I are gonna go see some shows together.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I predict that in the future.
Go ahead.
You'll be my concert buddy. Okay. So again, didn't buy a whole heck of a lot of stuff, but I did pick this up because it was the color tag of the day. It was $2.50. So it was just a regular, I don't know if it's vintage because I can't find a tag in it, which might be further in it, but either way, it's either vintage or current. I don't know, one of the two. Just Tommy Hilfiger. But $2.50. It's padded, so it's the kind that you it's got the protector for your laptop. Heading back to school. $2.50. I'll sell it for, at least 30, maybe more.
Reseller Project said that they just looked up Billionaire Boys Club and they call that logo the running dog.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure what kind of animal it was. It had a poofy tail, like it could have been a fox, but I don't know.
Yeah. Cheryl is lamenting. She's very angry at Dave Ramsey.
Cheryl, you know what? Dave Ramsey and his getting out of debt program works miracles for millions and millions of people. So honestly, I've never used it. I probably should.
But she's real sad about missing out.
We're sad you're missing open too, honey.
But I love that you're killing it on getting out of debt. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And next year, when you do get to come to open,
you will have paid cash for it.
You'll be really happy about it.
You'll be in a better position. So I picked this up. They just put it on the rack. It wasn't even going out yet, but it's a Hilo Hattie sarong skirt. What's nice about it is this is a pretty classic color and print. This is one of their most popular ones. As a matter of fact, I actually have a couple of shirts in this pattern. I have a couple of shirts in this pattern, but what's nice about it is it's bark cloth. It's not vintage, but it is in bark cloth. And it's new with tags. It's also a 4XL. So this is a good size. It's a big one. So the retail price on it was $45, but I think I'm going to list it closer to $60. There aren't any available. So
did you say it's bark cloth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bark cloth. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to list it higher than the actual retail price, probably about $60. It's really nice. It's a long one. Yeah, someone said the men's shirt. Yeah, see, Sandy, I have the men's shirt like this too, and I think I have a women's shirt like this. This is one of their most popular patterns. I find it all the time, and they still make them in bark cloth in this pattern. So, I paid $10 for it.
Very nice, very nice.
Let's see. Another weird thing that I picked up. Again, this was one of those. It was 50% off, so they were $4. They're new with tags. They're these big, huge, like hand knit mittens.
Oh, they're cute.
I love them, right? But the reason why I picked them up is because they were made by an Aboriginal tribe. So it says right on it, like the name of the person that made it and the company. And so you can go and look up this particular person's story. It's cool. One of those things that, you could probably find in like a hippie crunchy store that sells a lot of incense and smells like patchouli. But I think they're pretty cool. So, they don't sell for a ton, but again, I paid $4. They're new. I think they're a nice gift thing to put in the store, and I'll probably sell them for around 40 or so.
I like them. They're cool.
And I only have like 3 more things to show, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to
show all of them?
That's all I got.
You got a couple of big showstoppers there, though.
Oh, no, I have 4 things. All right, I'll sell.
No, and then you have,
I have 4 things total. I'll show 2 more.
Okay.
And then I'll hold on to the last 2. I'll close it with the last 2. So, This was only $6.99, and that the only reason why I picked it up is because it just really looked like it was very well made. And it is. It's leather and patchwork and super thick and all these great patterns sewn together. It was just hanging in the handbag section. So I happened to look up the brand, and the brand is this brand called Portine Gear. So what these are handmade custom bags for cameras, for photographers.
It's really nice.
So instead of carrying around those, ugly canvas bags, this gives a little bit more character to it, I think. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's in excellent shape. The problem is that there's not a lot of comps or sell-through for them. It just knew that it was really well made. There's one that's on eBay right now that's priced around $129.
There's two listed.
One that's priced at $30 and the one that has sold for around $30.
So that doesn't really tell you anything. So.
It doesn't. So I need to do a little bit more research and figure out where they're sold, how much they retail for. It just may not be something that's mainstream. It might be a private label type thing. But either way, I'll just try to figure out some good keywords for it.
Yep.
Because I think it's really nicely made. So I really don't know where I'm going to go with it for a price.
Yeah. Allison said she just had a rush on the shaved ice stand.
So
see, they like it.
And one more.
Okay, go ahead.
So this was one of my showstoppers I'm going to show right now. I had picked it up. They had a price tag on it for $40.
And she went.
And I went, ugh. And I went, oh. I looked up some comps. I didn't even really need to look up some comps, to be honest with you, because I knew what it would sell for. But the more that I was looking at it, I saw that there's a little damage to it. So, and it's not that there's any holes or anything like that, but the damage is that it has some water stains on it. Like they may have shown it, kept it somewhere that has some water stains on it. And because of the material that it is, I wasn't sure. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to be able to get the stains out. So I put it down. I went up to the counter. I asked if they would give me a little bit more off because it was so badly stained. And they said, even in bad condition, this is what they're going to price it at. I almost walked away from it, and we were just about to walk out of the store, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get it. I couldn't turn my back on it because it would have haunted me the entire trip.
Yeah.
So what is it, may you ask? I paid $32 because we had a 20% off coupon. It is a vintage Pendleton wool blanket. It's just in a green, light green and off-white plaid. It does have some real like watermarks. You can't see it.
You can see.
Can you see a little?
Yeah, you can see right here.
But I'm gonna soak it in woolite. I'm gonna actually put cold water and woolite in my bathtub, and I'm gonna see if that helps.
Did you show the tag?
I'm going to show the tag right now. Now, I may not have paid $32 for a damaged Pendleton blanket. That was current, but this particular one, geez, I can't find the corner. Hold on. I've now looked at every corner.
It's not a pea stain. It's
not
like a
pea
water
stain.
stain. It's like it was probably stored.
It was probably in someone's garage or something, and it's just where it was folded. There's like a big watermark on it. But it is a vintage Pendleton. I've got to do a little bit more research on this particular tag.
Grand
Canyon National Park series. And I can't find any that have this type of pattern. I've found one that has kind of like a muted sunset color pattern. So anyway, yeah, I think I can get the last one that was with a tag like this, but a different pattern, sold for $350. I'm thinking I can get around $300 for it. I'm not.
You can get the stains out.
If I can get the stains out, even if I can't get the stains out, I won't accept less than $200 because the stains are so muted. They don't affect the blanket. There's no holes. There's no rips.
Yeah.
So I paid $32. I think I will get at least $300 for it. I've never seen the Pendleton tag before either, Grandma, and I do a lot of Pendleton stuff. So I can. Now you know why I couldn't leave it behind. I'm like, darn it, now I'm going to have to ship something home. And if I'd walked away from it, I would have been really mad. So I'm going to probably try to wash it in woolite, which is made for washing, wool clothing and things like that. I'm going to use a lukewarm because I don't want it to shrink, and hot water will cause the wool fiber to shrink. And then I'll hang dry it. I'll hang dry it outside. Someone, Justin asked. Yeah, I'll hang dry it outside. So I'm hoping.
So Bonnie wants to know how you identify bark cloth.
So bark cloth, it's kind of hard to show you through the computer, but bark cloth it's a cotton fabric, but it's very, it's a fibrous fabric. It's rough and thick and has like a rough texture to it. So it's not something that's polyester or cotton that you would feel normally. Bark cloth you're going to find normally or mostly on vintage curtains and Hawaiian.
Are there any current Hawaiian brands that still do bark cloth?
Yeah. So well, that's not an old Hilo Hattie.
So where do they sell Hilo Hattie stuff? New.
I don't know on Hilo Hattie.
But they don't sell in any stores? Because I was just gonna say it might. It's kind of one of those things that like it's hard to explain, but at some point when you do come across something that you know for a fact is bark cloth, feel it, and then you're gonna know. You're gonna be like, oh, now I get it. Because once you know what it feels like, it's really easy to figure it out. Like and bark cloth is so desirable that like I've bought a Hawaiian shirt before, and I don't usually do Hawaiian stuff, but I will, if I have a little extra time, I will go down like the aisle and kind of feel the fabric. I bought a bark cloth Hawaiian shirt that was vintage that didn't even have a brand on it, and I sold it for $80 because that bark cloth is just like super cool.
I don't know if Hilo Hattie is out of business or not. It really was. I mean, they were still in business a year ago. There was a Hilo Hattie store right inside one of the malls here in Vegas. I haven't, but I mean, they've been around for a long time. So they've been around since I believe the 60s, and their tags have changed over time. That Hilo Hattie piece is not vintage. I mean, maybe it's not sold anymore, but at best, I would say it's 10 years old. It has one of the newer tags.
Candace, whatever it is that you have, why don't you email with pictures, because
send me a picture. Send me a picture, honey.
It's hard to like give pricing.
So Super Dad 1234 asked, great show. What has been your best week in sales? It's hard to tell. This week's sales are not representative of either of our normal sales. They're very, very low.
Well, mine was okay.
Yeah, mine was
really
shitty. But best week in sales. I mean, I've had $4,000, $5,000 weeks here and there, but that's been out of the norm. Around fourth quarter, I'm selling between $4,000 and $5,000 a week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I would say more like monthly. Like it's really nice if we can get over 10,000 in a month for each of us as individuals. I think 10,000 is nice. And in fourth quarter, you're going to be more like 12, 14.
My last 30 days, I'm down to about 8,500, 8,600 between the two platforms combined. Oh, actually 9,000 if I add my reseller, if I add my Bonanza sale. So I'm about 9,000. I've been hovering 10 to 12,000 a month. And then even higher in fourth quarter.
I'm about 8,500 to 9,000 as well right now for this last 30 days, last 31 days. But which for me, I think is great for summertime. So I'm totally happy with those numbers for the summertime. Anyway, all right, let me show you some more stuff. So just a few more from what I saw at what I got in Washington.
Answer one comment in there. Yeah, so they went out of business in Hawaii. That doesn't make that's not surprising to me because they started making their products in China a while ago, kind of like everyone else. They originally made all of their items in Hawaii.
Okay, so speaking of Alaska and
Allison Big Thrift.
Yeah, speaking of Alaska and like going into like Native American art and stuff like that. I've talked about this before. It's another one where I can't tell if it looks. This is more of a teal color, but it looks more blue on the screen. But I always talk about this style of art, and it's referred to as Northwest Coast art or West Coast art, kind of interchangeably. It's very common in Canada. It's very common to tribes that are part of the whole First Nations in Canada.
Pacific Northwest.
Right, Pacific Northwest. But I'm just saying, like a lot of times you'll find it'll be stuff that's made in Canada, and like the Haida tribe, I believe, is Canadian, and stuff like that. But this particular one says Sitka, Alaska, and the artist is, I don't recognize this particular one. There's a few other artists that I've sold their stuff before. This is Mark E. Natkong, so I'll have to look him up and see if he's somebody who's desired. But this style of art, I'm sure you guys have all seen it. It's kind of similar to like totem art and stuff like that. It's just, this is like super desirable, and this is awesome because it is actually vintage. Now it doesn't have a tag in it, but I can tell by the construction. It's got the single stitch on the hem of the sleeves and the bottom hem. So it doesn't have an actual date on it, but I would say this is probably 90s. Based on a single stitch. I don't think it's 80s, but it's probably 90s. But it's in really nice condition, and it's just really cool. So I should be able to sell this for at least my $47.99 price point because it's a really cool single stitch t-shirt. And like I said, the Northwest West Coast art style is super popular. And depending on the artist, I mean, I don't know, this particular artist might be, Ray Peck is one of the ones that I've sold his stuff before, and it goes for really well. I don't know if this particular artist is somebody whose his stuff is desired more.
I know, like most of the time when we come and show you these things, we haven't done much research, if any, on them. So this is just off the top of our heads.
Yeah. So, but this one, $4.99, I got 20% off of that. But I was really excited to snag this one. I've got a couple of cool tank tops. Vintage tank tops. This is the back of it. It's just like a really cool
tribal. Is it Hobie?
It says it's like a Hawaiian days, DAZE. It's like a surf tank top, and I just think it's pretty cool. Tribal
and surf and neon. Wow, so 90s.
I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's 90s.
I think this would look best on a young man that may have a tribal band arm tattoo.
No. $1.99, 20% off of that. But I think it's cool. Single stitch, cool tank top. I like the colors and stuff on it. And then this other tank top, I don't really know what's going on with this tank top. Doesn't actually have a tag on it, but I think it has like a date. I think it actually has a date on it. Yeah, it says 1993. Anyway, it's got this Doberman on it. And it says Nasty Boys with a Z.
Oh, well, hey.
Nasty Boys.
Nothing says 90s like ending things with Z that are supposed to be with a S.
Nasty Boys Tattoos. So the front of it says Nasty Boys Tattoos, and it says put the pin to your skin. And then at the bottom it says Nasty Boys Tattoo Shop and Coffee House. And then it says guard dog training and guard dog training.
I thought that had Bible verses on it. I was looking at it. It's a menu for
it has a menu.
Coffee prices.
No, it's better than that. It has a menu. So today's special. It has espresso, cappuccino, tattoo black, tattoo color, and then it says sutures and tetanus shots. Like that's your. Like so, I don't even know.
I don't think I want to go there to get the ink done.
It's such a weird. Like
there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on, so I think it's pretty awesome. I like it. I think it's cool. So those were all the things that I got in Washington. I will say, so I had done like just before we left. I think I had done every once in a while I'll go on like Mercari and stuff like that, and I'll find stuff, or on eBay, and I'll see if I can source things from these different platforms to resell. And so I ended up like buying a few things. So we got home and I had all these packages, and she was like, all I got was a return and some bills, and you got all these packages. And I'm like, well, you can do that too. Like you can order things online and pay for them, and they'll just show up at your house. It's crazy, guys.
She had like Christmas presents.
It's totally crazy. Anyway,
so someone's talking to who said, Jen says, I have a very old janky looking armband tattoo. You know what? A lot of men and women have the tribal armband tattoos from the 90s.
Pacific 49 has a tramp stamp.
I have a tramp stamp as well. I don't have the armband tattoo, but I have a tramp stamp. Yeah. Katy has a tribal tattoo. That's her one tattoo.
It's my one little tattoo. But I still like it just because I got it with my friends when I was 19, and we gone on a road trip down to San Diego, so I have good memories of whatever. Nobody sees it anyway. So Washington Redskins, I got this off of Mercari. I think I paid like $15 for it. But it just has like that all over print where it prints out to the sleeves. And I got this awesome vintage Minnesota Gophers sweatshirt. That's pretty sweet.
That's really cute.
It's cute. And then the last one I'll show you is this one. I think it says turn out the lights, the party's over. And
that's a Canadian. Turn out the lights.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. And look, it's got, remember Spuds McKenzie? He has been beat up and destroyed by this bulldog. I'm actually not entirely sure maybe somebody out there, I haven't done any research on this. Somebody out there will know what the bulldog is supposed to be.
I don't know, but it's cute.
But it says turn out the lights, the party's over, and poor little Spuds McKenzie has been beat up.
That's like my French Canadian family talking right there. Turn out the lights.
Yeah, I like it.
Not off. Turn out the lights.
Turn out the lights. And it's got this interesting Toltex tag made in the US. I'll show you. Anyway, I like it. I think I paid like $12 for it. So that was a song, Sandy says. All right, that's all I got. What do you got? You got a couple of really cool things to wrap up the show with.
I got a couple things. So one Katy grabbed for me, actually. I did not even buy it.
I had to run some errands, and I went by a Salvation Army I'd never been to before, and I got like a couple of things for myself, but I saw that and ended up grabbing it for you.
So I have to take it out of this frame. It had glass in it, and the glass was broken, so it's got a little scratch, but it is a vintage, we think about 80s, just a vintage ski map, like poster with like the Breckenridge Ski Resort. It has all the different names of the trails and the heights and the elevations and all that kind of stuff. So for like a restaurant or a man cave or someone that has a ski resort, or
I'm guessing
somebody super into skiing.
I'm guessing this was actually for the ski resort.
Yeah, it probably was.
It was like in their lobby or something.
So we've got to figure out how to get it out of here. It may or may not be attached to the backing. I haven't gone that far, but what'd you pay for it? Like,
oh, it was like
$2.
Well, I couldn't find a price on it, and she gave it. Because the glass was all broken, she was like, "Oh, $2.99."
Yeah. So I'm going to list this for probably about $150 or so. I might be able to get more. I haven't done a ton of research. I just did a quick perusal.
Yeah.
And I'm based on some of the stuff that it has on it, I might be able to, pinpoint the date a little bit better. But just preliminarily.
But yeah, it's from like Colorado.
I think it's from
cool.
I think it's from the 80s.
Yeah. Allison says it's suitable for a shave ice shack.
It is suitable for. Do you want to take it back on the plane like this? So this was the reason why we had to ship something home from Washington. So we went to walk by into the Value Village, and I walked by this item, and it was outside. And then I went and did a huge double take and walked backwards. It was $2.99.
Yep.
And it was 20% off of that. It is a vintage 1950s Art Deco stool that spins. So it spins up and it spins down. People
it looks like it's brand new.
It looks brand new. There's absolutely no pitting or pocking or rust or anything like that.
Or grease or wear.
Grease, nothing. It's chrome, and it has the faux leather seat. It's something that was used. They use them in doctors' offices. They use them in tattoo parlors. They use them in all kinds of stuff like that. It's definitely industrial. Yes, grandma, cheap. Definitely industrial, but it's also that vintage Art Deco chrome look too. So I paid, I think, $40 to ship everything home that we purchased. That was worth it right there. There are a couple of them listed. There's a couple soles. A lot of people don't want to ship them. They're not difficult to ship. You put it in a box. It's not going to break. Yeah, stools at the doctor's office. Exactly.
Mad Men
So
chic.
If you could use those words in the title, yes. But you can't on eBay anyway. Anyway, so the brand is, because it still had the label on it, I was able to actually do a little research on it. And the brand is Pedigo. So it's P as in Paul, E-D-I-G-O. There are a few listed. They tend to sell for around the $200 range when people charge like $100 in shipping. It's not going to cost $100 in shipping. It'll ship cross-country FedEx for like $30. The stool goes down, it becomes fairly compact. It will be dimensional weight shipping though. So a lot of people do pickup only. They don't want to know how to ship. Calculated shipping looks super expensive if you use it the wrong way. Yeah. So you cannot use the words Mad Men, because Mad Man is a show, and because it has copyright issues around it.
Yeah. It's keyword spamming is what it is, because the only way
you can use chic.
The only way you can say Mad Men is if it literally came from the Mad Men show
and came off their set, and you could prove it or something like that.
Or if they were selling a line of Mad Men decor in a store and that's what you were selling. So like, for instance, if you found, like, for instance, you guys were just talking about Stranger Things, the 3rd season, one of the highlights of the show is the clothing. So 11, she has like a few different outfits that she wears in that. They're super, super adorable and super 80s. And like, what's his name? The sheriff, he has this really cool like print.
Stranger Things?
That's what I said, Stranger Things.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. Sorry.
I said Stranger Things. I said earlier they were talking about Stranger Things in the chat. Anyway, the sheriff, he's wearing that cool, it's like a kind of Hawaiian print shirt. And they're actually selling those. They're smart this season. They actually, rather than like just buying them off of eBay, like actual vintage stuff, they basically are selling them. I think it's like Target or something like that. There's a couple of different stores that they're selling them through. So if you literally bought the branded Stranger Things shirt, you could say it was Stranger Things. What are you looking at?
Amanda's comment just made me laugh. Yes, it's absolutely the type of tool that they use in your gynecologist's office.
DuPage Piquer. Greg Googled that tank top, or I mean that sweatshirt, and it looks like it's a Georgia Bulldog sports reference. I was wondering if it was going to be some sort of sports team.
Cool.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that stool. It's really well made, nice. It's very hard to find something of that age with it looking that good. You can find repros, but it's really hard to find something like that, especially if it was actually used, where the chrome hasn't been pitted and it's not rusty.
It has not been used.
It's like super shiny and perfect still. It's like it looks like it was polished. The sticker tag is still on it. I don't think it's new. I'm certainly not going to list it as new. You don't need to list condition and vintage anyway. But it's an excellent shape. So
what's really crazy is, so when we went, because of how we were flying, took the cheap airlines to fly to Washington, we actually shipped a whole box of stuff ahead of time. Because there were lots of, like, you had bought like a whole bunch of presents for the girls in your cabin, and like we had some costumes that we needed to ship that we just didn't want to have to like have them weighing down our luggage. So we shipped a big box, and we actually cut that box down. This is what's really crazy, guys. This is where it gets a little crazy. We cut that box down. It wasn't just a regular box. It was like one of those 22 by 22 by 18 boxes. It was 22 cubed, and we cut it down to 18 on one side. Whatever. We cut it down. My point is, we altered it. We cut it down so it wouldn't be too big, and we shipped it. So we get there and we go to Value Village. You buy the stool, and then I proceed to buy
the blanket.
Which I would like to point out, guys, that the entire time I was picking up T-shirts and stuff, she's like, "Really? You're gonna get all that? Really? You're gonna get that?" And I'm like, "You're shipping a stool home. Yes, I'm gonna buy my T-shirts, jerk." And so we get back to the house. And we're like, okay, we got to figure out how to ship this. And there was a little,
because we had to ship it the same day.
There was a little discussion, because we were going to camp the next day. There was a little discussion about like just listing it, and they would ship it out for you, which they totally would have done from Washington when it sold. But we were like, oh, we have this box of stuff that we don't need to ship back because it's basically for camp and it's not going back to Nevada. So we dumped all of that into a big garbage bag to take to camp with us. I kind of rolled the stool down, like spun the stool down a little bit, and I was able to get it fit perfectly in this box. I laid the Pendleton blanket on the bottom, laid the stool in there, put in all the rest of the stuff, my T-shirts and sweatshirts and the stuff that you bought, those purses and bags, whatever. Everything fit into this perfectly. We didn't need any additional padding or spacers or anything. It shut, and it was the perfect size. And I don't even know how that happened. It
was about $36 to ship home. And I spent $40 total. So
yep, not too bad. Not too bad.
Not bad at all. So Super Dad asked, how many items are listed in your store? So right now I have about 2,400 and change in my store. And Katy,
what do you have about Etsy?
Oh, I have 1,000 or so, just under, maybe like 990 something on Etsy.
In my eBay store, I have about 2,200. In my Etsy store, I have about 1,200.
Now, to be fair, the Etsy items are items that are already listed on eBay as well. So it is
everything is on.
It's cross-posted. So when something sells on eBay, we have to end it on Etsy. Something sells on Etsy, we have to end it on eBay. You do have to keep track of that stuff. There is no software that does that for you as of right now. There are software programs that exist that are fairly expensive for multi-channel. But you would probably need to be a much higher volume seller than both of us are, because the cost is prohibitive at this time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We pretty much, I mean, we're not going a full 2 hours, so I guess
it was still an hour and 40 minutes. Jeez. And we only showed like 6 things.
Yeah, but we talked about a lot of other stuff. We were talking about camp and talking about eBay Open and stuff like that. So whatever. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Next time you see us, it's going to be for our Wednesday live show, which is going to be a little later than normal. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be at 4 p.m. And I'm sorry that you're probably going to be watching it and feeling really sad that you're not with us. Sorry, Cheryl. But it is going to be a really fun show. Sorry, Cheryl.
Specifically.
Sorry, Cheryl. But it is going to be a really fun show, so you should definitely tune in. And for those of you who are here who are actually going to come to the show, again, cool prizes, fanny pack. That fanny pack is going to find a new home, and it just might be with you. So definitely come to the show.
We really have a huge box of prizes, and we are about to. We got to run out and get some tickets today.
Yeah, we got to find some tickets. Although we should ask some of our peeps, because I bet Dorothy has like 5 rolls of tickets.
Oh yeah, Dorothy. We should be texting Dorothy.
Knowing Dorothy
has everything.
Seriously. So yeah, so we'll see you on Wednesday. Otherwise, if you are here for open or you're just here in Vegas, you should definitely come to the hangout on tomorrow night at Skyfall Lounge. Some of the groups are meeting up at like 7. I think we're going to be there probably more like around 6. I don't know. So whatever. Anytime.
I think we want to get there earlier and kind of like stake out a spot, just because it's going to get crowded.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be crowded.
Last year when we went, we barely made it through the front door. It took us about an hour and a half to get to the bar because we kept getting stopped by people, which was fantastic. Just being able to meet friends and talk to people, but we couldn't get into the room.
Yeah.
So yes, it will be 4 o'clock EST, David, for sure. Thanks for joining us from Florida again. And I'm super excited. Allison, I'm so excited to meet you tomorrow. We're going to meet you at the airport. Katie has your details. We're picking you up, and then we've got to hang out for about half an hour and pick Alexis up as well. So you guys are about 30 minutes apart in your flights.
Yeah. So you're going to have to wait, Allison. Suck it up.
Yep. And Allison and everyone, either check the Facebook group eBay Open 2019. That is a private group, so that one is not as easy to find, just so you know. If you're not in that group, that's okay. It's it's better to have that information. We're going to have everything that's in there also in the Boss Facebook group. And we will put items on our information.
Oh yeah, and the Boss Up suite that Mo is hosting very nicely for us.
We open tomorrow
at 5 p.m. So you know, if you go to the thing at the Skyfall Lounge and it's a little overwhelming because it will be packed, there'll be a lot of people there, and you want something a little more chill, you can always go over to the to there. And I'm sure Mo will be if you're in that Facebook group. Like she says, the eBay
signing up on the eBay Open app is a good idea as well. I didn't get a chance to do that when we were at camp because the cell service was so spotty. I couldn't download the app. But yeah, Mo's going to post it there. Find her. Mo, I don't know what your name is on the app, but if you want to put that there, that would be awesome. What we're going to do is we are going to pre-schedule our show on YouTube as soon as we have the information as well. So even if you're not on the social media, if you're not on Facebook or you're not on Instagram and you only watch us through YouTube, we will put the information underneath the show, because the show does show pending. If we put a show up and we schedule it for the 1 o'clock, we'll put the details underneath that have the suite.
But honestly, because it's a penthouse suite, you're not going to be able to just go up to the room. We're going to have people who are going to be down at the elevators, and so you don't even necessarily. You're just going to have to know which elevators to go to, because you're going to have to be escorted up anyway. Because the way it works with those suites is you have to have.
We're going to be arranging people to bring people up in groups on the elevator.
You have to have a card to even push the button for that floor. So you're not going to be able to just show up at the number. So we'll probably just tell you which elevators to go to. Yeah.
So it's going to be a real big, Mo, just so you know, I mean, I would definitely go and try to go to the cocktail hour as well, or the cocktail meeting as well, because it's not tight spaces. It's actually a relatively big bar. It gets busy, say after 8 o'clock or so. If this thing's going to start at 7, it's going to be at its busiest around 8.
Yeah.
And then people, trickle in, trickle out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you can always go in there early and then as it gets busier, hightail it out of there. All right, guys.
So we're looking forward to meeting all of our peeps.
For sure.
Can't wait to see everybody at the Skyfall Lounge tomorrow, and also can't wait to see everyone at the show. So those are 2 specific, a lot of people are asking us to meet up and things like that. And those are 2 specific areas that we are going to be in no matter what. And we're kind of being flexible from there. There's lots of different friends in town that we want to spend time with. And I'm sure you all do as well. Plus, we actually really want to attend the convention, that we all paid to be at. And Katy is speaking twice at the conference. She is on a speaker panel, Women in Business. If you're going to eBay Open, please make sure you go in and sit in the audience for at least one of them. And because I'll be at both of them, because I kind of have to support my B. And then
What'd you call me?
My B. I was going to say baby. B. Better than bay. So super excited to meet everybody for sure.
Right. Let's go get some shipping done.
Bonnie, yeah, feel free to send me an email if you have some questions. I can't promise that I'll get to it today, but I will. I actually haven't gone through my 900 emails from this past week yet. And I'm not kidding. It's about 900.
All right. Let's go let's go do
let's
some
go
shipping.
ship. Bye.
Bye.